we're going to go on a tour, and I'm just supposed to be talking to you about Morton Avenue, and I'm excited to capture this so we can revisit it. But we'll walk this way. A long time ago, a couple years ago, our real estate committee started working in, probably more than a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, started looking at the Glenwood neighborhood and acquisition opportunities for property so we could build houses. And this street in particular presented some opportunities to acquire vacant houses that were very dilapidated, which is one of the #1 sources of or hosts for problems in a neighborhood are these empty, dilapidated homes. They're hosts for drug activity and prostitution and other things that are really just not good for anyone. And what we've been able to do through diligent volunteer effort in the site acquisition efforts is to acquire some properties. And the first ones were over here to the left. We're going to maybe speed up a little bit. And they looked similar to this area right here, but we acquired 3 properties. They were foreclosed properties, and we bought them. We were able to get them for a really good price from the bank, and we're supported by donors that help us buy these things. So we replaced an area that looked like this with these 3 houses right here to the left. And I believe the sponsors for these 3 houses were the Women Build, UCC DOC, the churches, United Church of Christ, Disciples of Christ, churches came together to build that center house, and then the Lutherans built the next one down. And this was 3 houses, a lot of dilapidation right in one area that we were able to scoop out and put homeowners, which stabilize a community, and beautiful houses, which help improve our spirit of community. So our hope is in the future is to build partnerships like Community One, which is a community development corporation that's brand new born out of Crossroads Christian Church, where their real desire is to bring people that want to help all throughout the community. They're everywhere through a very sophisticated web-based tool, and pair those people that want to help existing homeowners, match them up with homeowners, and then do some repairs. So for instance, if maybe this house across the street was a homeowner occupied unit and they needed some help, that we could pair them, that Community One could work alongside Habitat on a street like this and help them with roof repairs, weatherization, a major rehab, all of the things that Habitat is right now. Community One could fall in around Habitat, and us fall in around them in certain situations, and improve a whole street. So this whole street-by-street process or concept isn't new, but it's sort of new to us. I think we want to catalyze it and make it something bigger, because I just think it's completely doable. I mean, we send human beings to the moon. We can go to the bottom of the ocean. We can drill for oil. These are amazing feats, and I think we're completely capable of looking at a street like this and looking at our neighbor and reaching out and getting to know them, understanding where they are in life. And I think when we do that, we learn some things about ourselves, and we grow as a person. The community grows because of our generosity, and we really have a greater impact that way, I think, on the city. The other day I was at church, and we're doing a neighborhood project through my church, and my preacher, my pastor, got up and opened us up with a few words, and he said he went to a conference recently, and they said, and he took away, the main thing he took away was, don't build a great church, build a great city. And I think that to me, when I heard that, I thought, let's not just focus on building a great habitat. Let's focus on how we can be a great habitat and help build a great city. So that was really awesome to get some words, I guess, around that. So you know, while we've been out here working, I say we, it's volunteers primarily, and the field staff are out here working. We've gotten to know the neighbors and understood kind of the contributions they really make to this neighborhood and what great people they are. I honestly wish I had more time to be on the street and get to know people. I kind of envy people that get the chance to do that, but it's really cool. And this is our city, our neighborhood. And so these two houses right here are Habitat homes that were built obviously a few years before we re-entered the Glenwood neighborhood. And these homeowners have been there a long time. And really, the research out there about the impact of homeownership on families is that children do better in school and parents are better off financially and things like that, but homeownership actually impacts the neighborhood. And that is because homeowners are sort of vested partners in a neighborhood, and they become more involved, and they build what we call social capital for the whole area. And they stabilize a neighborhood because, you know, really practical reasons. Why does homeownership stabilize a neighborhood? Because, you know, it's harder to move when you have a mortgage. So you're there, and when you have a Habitat mortgage, it's very affordable, so there's really not anything else out there to move to that's as affordable and decent as a Habitat home. So Habitat really stabilizes neighborhoods by selecting good families, strong families, and they come into a neighborhood and they stay at least 25 years for the most part and beyond. All right, so another thing we're working on, I don't know if you can see this sidewalk very well, but the city's committed to, when the resources are available, to helping us improve this block by improving the infrastructure. So when we talk about collective impact, that's what I mean. So we're investing, Habitat's investing, Community One is investing. We have a plethora of donors and groups that come out and work with us. The way down at the end of the street, the Evansville Housing Authority has invested in the neighborhood. And this, for the city to come in the same place and invest at the same time with us, really helps us increase our overall impact. So, and you might think, well, sidewalks, you know, what's the big deal? Well, you know, you have the person that lives over here in this yellow house is a elderly gentleman, and his daughter has come to help take care of him. And what if he wants to take a walk down the street and he might fall down or whatever, so he's really confined to his house for the most part, unless somebody's helping him. And you know, we should just care about that, and as a community do what we can to improve and help, especially for contributing members of our community. All right, so over here are 2 additional houses, and we'll be able to have 3 there. And they're in progress. And then across the street here we have another one. And you may not know this, depending on who you are and how involved you are in Habitat, but families actually get to select their lot after 150 hours of sweat equity. So they work a good bit of hours building their friends' houses or the other partner families' houses, and then they get to pick their lot. And people, you know, quite honestly, some of our families are very concerned about moving to this area. But once they've gotten here and they've gotten to know the neighbors and they've gotten to know each other, there's just a real sense of, I feel like a real sense of pride, and their fears have kind of dissipated. And I think a challenge in the future to Habitat is how can we do better at training and teaching partner families, which are a major presence in this neighborhood and other neighborhoods, to be community builders. So when they think about paying it back, they may think, well, I'll go to the next neighborhood and help Habitat. Well, when real life sets in and you've got your family and your full-time job, that's not always practical. So how can we help families understand, when they look at their street, that they can take an active role in making it the best place to live? All right, so this house in particular was sponsored by an anonymous donor. Nobody in the organization really knows who the donor is. They give through a third party. But this is how the financing works for Habitat. We're both the builder and the bank. So donors will give us the upfront capital to build a house, and we build that house, and then we give the home buyer a mortgage, a Habitat mortgage. It's the same as if you went to a bank and had a regular bank and had a mortgage, and they repay us over time. So that money comes in from all of our mortgages. We have well over 300 mortgages right now that are active, and as you can imagine, that's a nice cash flow for Habitat. It creates a very sustainable organization. In a mature Habitat affiliate, what typically happens is that the revenue from those mortgage payments help support the administrative costs. So to pay me, the executive director, and the other staff, to pay the rent on the building, to put gas in the trucks and so forth, that's where the money comes from to do that. Now, a unit like this, from site acquisition to site prep to putting the last doorknob in, costs Habitat about $80,000 a unit. And I'm standing in Steve's way.
Yep.
Costs about $80,000 a unit, and for a long time, Habitat's been able to not only support the administrative costs of the organization, but through other general contributions and grant funds and so forth. Over the last several years, we've had a surplus, and we've been able to come alongside an anonymous donor, which is an individual that has given the organization $55,000. We can support the other $25,000 from surplus. And as things in the world have changed, it's become more and more difficult for Habitat to carry that extra cost. So with each unit we build, we're being very prudent and very careful to make sure that we have secured the full $80,000. So this is different for our house sponsors. It's a learning for everyone, and a change in the organization, but we're trying to, with contributions from individuals and house sponsors, to come up with the full 80 before we start construction. And I think that's the best way for Habitat to do business. These houses are built primarily by something we call our core crew, and they are the skilled, oh, hi baby, they are the skilled, what a sweet dog. They're the skilled labor, volunteer labor that supports the house construction, and then also when we have community volunteers and partner families on the site, they teach others how to build houses. So we depend on them. They are the backbone of the organization in a lot of ways, and they're super people. They give an awful lot of their time. And on the flip side of that, I believe the Habitat experience gives them something in return. They, the core crew, are able to remain active, physically active, and enjoy camaraderie with each other. And most of the folks are gentlemen, some women, and they're retired from, you know, a plethora of different experiences in their careers, from carpenters to physicians. So we love these guys, and we'd love to have more of them. And it's, I think, the best way to spend your retirement years. So Morton Avenue is part of a bigger community, and it's a neighborhood called the Glenwood neighborhood. And about 4 years ago, Habitat served as catalyst and a lead convener to bring people from the nonprofit sector, the for-profit sector, our city government together and look at an entire neighborhood with the residents, and come up with a shared vision and plan, and opportunistically really invest in this neighborhood and bring the whole neighborhood up. So Sweetser Avenue was improved by the city as one of their investments, and then like the Welborn Baptist Foundation, and you go all the way down, the Glenwood Leadership Academy is down there, and the Welborn Baptist Foundation worked to help Mike Shoulders get a garden planted, because one of the things that's lacking here is quick access to healthy fruits and fresh vegetables and things like that. There's a market. They invested in this corner market down here to also get fresh produce there, because our health and wellness is definitely part of our overall quality of life. The Glenwood Leadership Academy has done a tremendous amount of investment. A lot of that was going to happen anyways, but their I-STEP scores doubled, and all of this activity in the neighborhood, us all doing it together, has made each individual nonprofit or school corporation or the Wellborn Baptist Foundation or whoever you are investing, it's made us all more competitive in the national market for funding. Because a lot of the funds that support the Glenwood School, the Wellborn Baptist Foundation efforts, and so forth have come from national grants, and this entire effort has made all of us more competitive to attract funding to Evansville, and in particular this neighborhood. This is Caldwell Homes. It's kind of an older style Evansville Housing Authority, what we would call public housing in the old days, I guess. And we have, I think, the housing, affordable housing industry has really grown to figure out that high concentrations, there's some challenges that come along with that. And I would like to see, in a perfect world, for us to build the strongest relationship we can. And when I say us, I mean all of Habitat, our families, our volunteers, our staff, to really build a relationship with the individuals that live and work with Caldwell Homes, and just build a foundation to make the community a better place. I think really just by introducing yourself and getting to know somebody, it really takes down a lot of the stereotypes that we carry. And those stereotypes motivate us to isolate from each other, and really to build bridges from Morton Avenue across the street to Caldwell Homes would just be fantastic. And that happens one person at a time, one opportunity at a time. So we invited the executive director and the manager over here to one of our staff meetings, and we had a little conversation. I thought that went well, and we'll see what happens from there. But they've talked about some improvements of the facades and things, which would just be marvelous. This stuff does not happen overnight, and I believe that we've got to take a long-term view on neighborhoods, stick it out, and maybe think 10 years. Not 10 years just for Habitat, because we move faster than that with new house construction, but 10 years with everyone working together and moving towards overall improvement.